Dobrocast, a podcast from the world of local and international volunteering. Get inspired, experience something different, help out, and grow. Hi, welcome to Dobrocast, a podcast about volunteering and active citizenship. I'm Yula, and I'm your moderator for this podcast series, Engage. In 3 episodes, we are talking to inspirational people living across Europe who are actively engaged in their communities and or create their own opportunities. The series was created thanks to the financial support of the European Union as part of the project with the same name, Engage, which is short for Empowering Next Generation Advocate for Global Education. A short disclaimer, the opinions expressed in the series reflect only those of the guests and the podcast authors. The donor bears no responsibility for them. Did you ever have the feeling that you want to quit everything you're doing, your job, your studies, whatever, to just hitchhike and discover the world? Because I kind of get that vibe when looking at the project our guest for this episode participated in. The students, Kateřina Kozáková and Maria Votočková, decided to join the project Learning by Bus this summer. Together with 14 other volunteers, Kačka and Maria traveled from Denmark to Kosovo on a bus to implement a series of non-formal educational workshops for other young people on the way. Hi, Kačka and Maria, welcome.
Hi.
You are here to tell us more about yourselves, the exciting project and what it brought to you, because essentially the project was about way more than just traveling together. And I'm very excited to discover that with you together, what exactly. So please tell us a bit more about yourselves, like what are your current life situations and what are you two doing at the moment?
Okay, so I can start. My name is Kačka. I study here in Prague in University of Economics. I study business administration, but with interest in marketing, especially in like the sector of NGOs and also volunteering. And that's also why or how I found INEX for the first time a few years ago. So that's a bit about me for the beginning.
Hi, I'm Maria. And I just finished high school before the project.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if I understand correctly. How did you exactly discover INEX? How did it get to you? Did you stumble upon it on the...
For me, when I finished high school 2 years ago, 2.5 now, I was looking for something to do during my summer and I found work camps. So I did one in France and I enjoyed it a lot. It gave me a lot, personally, also the traveling experience. It was my first time, for example, flying alone without my parents. And since then, I was kind of in contact with INEX. I was following INEX on Instagram and also checking out the offers of another projects. So that's how I also found the Learning by Bus.
I was also looking for some adventure after high school. I planned it since second year of high school, and I was looking for working abroad, but I wasn't successful in the looking for it. So during the research, I found this project. So I sent my application, then I completely forgot about it, and then month after deadline. One of the organizers just texted me, "Hi, are you still interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually I am." What is this project?
What is it again? Scroll back.
It was a bit coincidence or that I'm here, but it was really nice coincidence.
Amazing. I love the background already. So can you please let us know what is the project Learning by Bus about and how was it built up?
It's actually, how does it sound? You get 16, 17 people in the bus and you hit the road and that's it actually.
And I would say you try to go because sometimes it's happened that the bus is not going at all or you are stuck on a highway, things happen.
Or the bus is going, but you wake up from your sleep and you are told that you need to be here instead of the mirror because the mirror is just rotating and you need to tell the driver if there is a car. And
yeah, I would say that you can like really be part of really different stories that you probably didn't think about before you go there. But like in a more accurate way, I would describe it as a like tool for non-formal education in like both ways, because one thing is that you are working on the events for other people to teach them something about soft skills, communication, but also you are in the position like making this happen for the first time in your life. So the whole project was like a big learning for each of us.
Yeah, because we were in contact with people we wouldn't be friends normally. It were completely different people. Yeah, they were completely different people, and it was really interesting to build this close relationships with people I wouldn't talk to normally because they had completely different backgrounds and like
Yeah, totally different. Yeah, there were different people from different countries, from different communities coming from. I would like to ask a question like regarding that, because that's, by the sound of it, the project organizers selected also the participants kind of like this, right? To have more participants in it with different experiences and different perspectives. So, like, what were the requirements for you to participate in the project?
I would say like we can't really see the insight from the coordinators, but it was prepared by 4 organizations, which were totally different. It was INEX, then DNS, which is Danish Alternative Education School. Then it was volunteering organization in Spain, which is similar, like which prepares similar activities as INEX, and then it was Pristina University, which is really like more formal organization, and the goal was to connect the worlds of formal and non-formal education. So I would say that it was like for each organization it was a bit different. I would say for INEX it was like you have to have some special spirit in you to like be interested in this kind of project and be like so motivated to sleep with 17 people or 16 people in the bus. So I would say the like spirit in the people or the energy of the people, but otherwise I wouldn't say that it's something specific, some special requirement.
But I was chosen late, like not even a month before, because someone quit.
Oh wow, lucky you.
Yeah, because I didn't react to the emails because it looked like I will have a job in Netherlands, but then I didn't. So yeah, and I need to make a video. It was like I did it like 5 minutes long, and I changed locations, and then I show it to my friend, and he showed me his video. He was from Kosovo, and he was also in the project, and he had just 1 minute video when he was like, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah, and I study this," and that's it. So it was really interesting. Like his video was like 45 seconds or something like that, and he was also chosen. So I think I don't really know about the requirements.
Yeah, maybe it's like Kachka said, that it's like counts more this about the spirit, and that's like the most important thing, which I very find very sweet about it, because you as a group, you need to click, right? Like that's one of the like challenges, but maybe also one of the beautiful things like happening during the project. Before diving more into that, I would love to understand a bit more how the project was like built up. So you didn't just go to Denmark and then jumped on a bus, and then after visiting Kosovo, like you went back. So how was the process of a project, if you could sum it up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
you start.
okay, so we started in Denmark, where we met and had some maybe some. Did we have some team building activities or some?
We had like 1 week of team buildings, but also like the whole project was prepared by us. We had only like a guidance of students from the Danish organization who did similar thing as a part of their study program. But otherwise, we were preparing everything, the route, the
menu, shopping. We also built like beds in the bus.
Wow. So also the logistics you covered,
yeah,
all of
the
you.
preparation of the whole project and dividing the responsibilities.
We also divided into the group for the non-formal education workshops. And before we left, we had one workshop for the students there, where we just introduced them what we would like to do at our workshops. And
yes, and for me, it was a bit different because I was also the leader of the Czech group. So for us as a leaders, it was also about checking if everything is going well, like in the collective, if everyone from our team is fine. Because like at the beginning, I would say it was the like more challenging to check on everyone than during the project where when we already were a team and we worked together pretty well. So that was another part of the first part. And then after a week or 6 days, I think it was 6 days, we started the route with the bus and we crossed Germany, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, and from Croatia another part of the project start, but that I will leave for Marie. But during this period we prepared the workshops for other people about the non-formal education, which was a bit like each of the events was a bit different because one was for the people, for other European volunteers in Eco Village. Another was for really small kids in the kindergarten. So it was really each of the groups was working on completely other thing.
also the workshops had different topics. One was about politics, one was about like environment and sustainability, and
then we had
art,
culture and art, and also we had two more formal events which were led by us as a leaders group, and it was more about like introducing our organizations and the project as a whole thing. So for me, I introduced INEX, but the other leaders introduced the rest of the organizations, and then also the other people who were not leaders introduced the project and how is it going.
Yeah, we prepared like a game for them, but the projector was too dark, so the game didn't happen.
Yeah,
happens.
I would say that like these moments when nothing worked were also a big part of the project, because like we had to do a big reflection and think about how to make it better for
Like
the next time.
At the end of the whole travel?
We had reflections like every day,
Like
important,
maybe every
yes.
hour. We have a lot of reflections, but we love them. Right?
Yeah, I think like the word reflection was one of the top 10 words
On the most
repeating
used
all the
words?
time. Yeah.
I remember once we were in the Eco Village and we wanted to go on a bike with some of the volunteers, and then we have one of the reflections in the bus, and so we needed to like postpone the bikes, and then I came back to the volunteers and they said, "Guys, you talk a lot together, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, but like, what else should we do when we are in 17 people in one small bus? Like, we need to communicate to make it works."
Yeah, like honestly, like when we now jump a bit, like in the end of the project, we had a few days without the reflection, and we really felt it like in the dynamics in the team, because we were so used to communicate like every single thing that we like but also didn't like, and it was important for building the team and to like for collaborating and creating the whole project together. And when we didn't have time or the space for it, we really felt that the dynamics is different and people are keeping some things for themselves only. So yeah, I like, for me the reflection part was one of the most important part of the project.
Yeah, because the time was really a big problem. Once we were in some camp and we were ready to sleep after dinner, but then someone was like, yeah, I have team building activity, and we didn't have any team building activity because we had so much responsibilities. So we did team building activity in midnight, and it was really nice, but I was about to sleep. But it was a really nice activity.
And in the end, like, it lifted up the spirit.
Yeah,
like
it did. It was like we wrote on a little card, like, fun fact about us, and then we mix it, and then we were guessing who wrote it. So it was like a bit, maybe some spicy secrets, and it was like...
But for the finalizing of description of the project,
Yes.
then like the other part was more typical for the Danish organization. It was called investigation, and the aim was to find out something more about the countries we went through. So we divided into the groups and we chose topics that we were interested about. And we hitchhiked and couch surfed, and basically we tried to be in contact with locals as much as we could to really like find out the answers for our questions by ourselves, which for me, I think it was one of the students from the Danish organization who told us that the only way how to really find out about the specific country or topic is to see it by your own eyes. And during the investigation, I could really feel that, because otherwise I would never hitchhike in Bosnia, for example.
Wow.
But it just gave us tens, maybe hundreds of really beautiful conversations, also about heavy topics. But in general, now I would say I know at least the Balkan countries we went through.
And then we met again in the Pristina University, and it was a really nice moment because it was like seeing your family after a really long time or something. We just came into the cantina of the university and we just jumped in a big group hug together, and all the people were like, what are these people? Is this a cult? And
Are they weird?
we are.
we were the weirdos there, like, definitely.
Yeah, but we were really happy, and it was really nice. And then we told stories from the investigation, and we spent some more days there. And we could choose if we will stay there for a summer university. But I think there were like 5 people who stayed in total. So it was a really hard time after it, because every day someone was leaving, and
Like, slowly, step by step, the group got smaller.
It was like every day we were destroyed because we cried, because it was someone's last day, and yeah.
But for me, it sounds really beautiful. Like, after this whole experience, that you really like grew together, like kind of a part-time family. It sounds, which is really beautiful experience. So thank you a lot for summing up how the project is built up. Like, first, the kind of a preparation phase, 6 days in Denmark. Then you needed to organize and plan it yourself, which is really, really cool that they just tell you, here, you plan it yourself. You came here to learn something, so learn. Learning by doing.
Exactly.
That was also in the top 10 list.
Yeah, it was
learning by doing.
Investigation, reflection, learning by doing.
I like our list, so let's keep it up. Let's see what other words come up during the recording. Then you had the actual like way going by bus, and also implementing like the workshops, like planning and implementing the workshops, the non-formal educational workshops for the different target groups and the different stations. And then you had this also the wrapping up phase, and then the investigation phase, and then the point where you all met again or said goodbye. Just to sum it up for the people listening.
Then we had also like investigation, reflection, that's the other word, like online when we came back, which was also nice because I could feel the atmosphere of the team also through the meet, and it was really nice. We just talk together like what happened in the days we didn't saw each other, and I felt the warmth of the community we built.
That's true.
Amazing. So you already like gave us some teasers like about what was happening, about like rotating mirrors outside the bus that you somehow had to take care of. Let's go more into the what did you actually experience, and what did you take from it? And apart from learning that reflection is important, because reflection, right? It's one of the best words, and learning by doing. What were your most important learnings, would you say?
Do you want to start with the funny stories or with the important one for our growth?
I would say both are important. So let's start with whatever you want.
Like for me, like one of the bigger challenges, and I mentioned it even during when I wrote my article about the Kosovo trip, was the leadership part, because I went there and I was supposed to be a leader, but I didn't know anything more than the participants. So for me, it was sometimes a bit of challenge to be the leader, and I had like really high expectations from myself. So that was like, I learned a lot. I'm so glad that I was a leader and that I handled this. And also, like in the team, I had so much support, which was amazing. One of the most beautiful parts of the project was the support that we created in the team. But that was like, I really found out how to improvise doing something for the first time and like facilitating some activities in the team. So that was definitely, I learned a lot by doing that.
Yeah, for me, the biggest challenge was not being with people, because they told us it will be problem to be this much around people, but for me it wasn't problem. We had also in the bus, like in the back there behind the beds, there was a chair. It was called farting chair, and it was it was for people who wanted to be alone, but I never use it because I always wanted to be around the people, but sometimes I really needed to sleep or something, but I was still like, something is happening, I can't sleep. So it was really like, tell myself no and just beat the FOMO and go sleep. and once I went sleep, and in the morning, one of my friends just say me good morning with new color of her hair, and
Wow.
then people were like, you missed the massage circle and you missed the I don't know what, and the whole day I just listened to what all I missed because I decided to go sleep one night. One evening I finally, it was in Pristina already, so it was like at the end of the project I finally beat it, but
Making fear of missing out, the FOMO, very real.
Yeah.
This is exactly how people imagine it. Yeah, you want to say
I would
something?
say that like it was also really like we really had to find what we want to do, because there is always something happening in like the Danish part of the project, in the bus, in Pristina. All the time there is something that you can do with other people, and sometimes you have to really be like, okay, but I also need to breathe, eat, sleep, be alone, and I have some like physical needs. So yeah, it was sometimes we really struggled to say to ourselves that to stop.
So like boundary setting, like healthy boundary setting, also keeping in mind yourself.
yeah, because
your own needs.
even the normal everyday conversations helped me grow so much, like seeing the other people perspective, because before this project I never understood that empathy isn't about imagine myself in someone else's situation, because it's not the same. The people is not me, or it's they are perceiving the word differently. So this is through the conversation I understood that to understand other person I need to do something else than imagine myself in their situation.
So what else is that?
I don't know. Maybe communicate and try to understand it other way, like not really why, because you will never be in the same position, but maybe just like accept the person as a whole, because that's what we needed to do with the people, kinda.
Yeah. I would say that's like it's better to ask than to assume something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always good. Okay, thank you. So I hear a lot about like learning that, or understanding that you actually like to socialize with people. Also, at the same time, realizing your boundaries, like when to say, okay, I really need to be alone. I really need to take care of myself, which I would say is an important learning in this world, and you will encounter it more often. Even though it's about things that you love doing or that you like doing, you have your needs. Is there anything else? Any other?
I think I also learned. I learned how to value more other people, how to love the person in whole package, and I think I also learned it about myself, because when you see in a person you really love some traits you don't like on yourself, it makes you realize that they are actually good. And also when you are hearing that something is beautiful, even though you heard it's not not a good trait your whole life, it also teach you like this and accept this about yourself. Because, for example, I have this with like emotions, because I was told the whole life, you are too emotional. Why are you crying now? What's happening? Do you have reason to cry? And now I was crying when we were leaving the Denmark after 5 days, and someone asked me, "You are really emotional, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." They're like, "That's beautiful," and I was like, "Oh, thank you. Is it?"
Healing a part of yourself.
Yeah. And I heard this many times during the travel. So step by step, I learned to value my insecurities. And
That was really beautifully said. Thank you. I think like also talking as a German speaking, and I'm not saying that Germans have no emotions, but it's coming like from a place where, yeah, or in general, like I feel like in Europe or Central Europe, emotions are not really like a good thing if it's like, especially if it's not happiness or joy. So I really appreciate that you're saying that and that you learned that. And yeah, that's a good part to accept of yourself. We have emotions and we show them. So
yeah,
that's
and
great.
I also learned like accept the negative ones. Like this was like positive crying, like not like bittersweet, but also I remember one of the teammates cried, and I was like, "Why are you crying? Can I help someone somehow?" And then other teammate was like, "No, just let her cry. Just be here and let her cry. It's also like emotion. Let her express it." And I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Right. Well, thank you. Then, by the way, if you notice anything, a realization happening like throughout, you can just tell.
Maybe because like my biggest thing that I like learned during the project was going with the flow, because usually like here in Prague I'm the one with the strict calendar and planned everything, and when you are going with the bus, which is like from the year 1994 I think it was.
That explains the mirror.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of other things. And also when you are hitchhiking through Balkans or sleeping in places of random people in Balkans, you can't plan anything. Also with people from different countries, you can't plan anything, almost. So I think like for me, after 2 or 3 days in Denmark, when I struggled because I expected it to be more prepared, more planned, I just gave up a bit, and I started to go with the flow, and it was like the biggest thing that I learned there, and also what I'm trying to keep in my life now in Prague, that sometimes it's just the best like the best option is to give up planning and going with the flow and listening to other people,
being present.
Yeah.
Like
I think this happened to me, but in like a bigger perspective, because I was always planning my future like far, far away. And now I think I'm more in peace, because I know it's not important or not maybe possible to know now what I want to do in 20 years. And I feel like I should choose what I want to do now and not plan this far away and when I will have kids and how will I afford a house. Like, it's important, but I don't think I can solve it from my position now. So I'm more calm about this.
Yeah, I think this was important for both of us because before I went there, I had everything planned, like with my future, that I want to finish my bachelor's, then do my master's, then do this, and this in my career. And then I went there and I also met people from similar fields of like marketing or communication in general. And we talked a lot and I realized that actually I can decide when I will be 30 even. And like that I think what I made out of it is that it's nice to have some goals, but it's even better to be able to change them and like to not limit myself because I have some plan that I shared, I don't know, with my parents or with my friends or like sticking in one plan for the whole life and limiting the other opportunities or like not doing things that I would love to only because it doesn't fit in my idea of my future.
Right, like kind of putting yourself in a box yourself and then you're not able to break free kind of from it.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful advice, actually. I think I can cut off a piece of that as well.
Yeah, but it's really hard to like set yourself in this because I see around myself a lot of people who are also trapped in this like need to plan everything, and I don't really know how to help them because I couldn't help myself before the trip, and the trip helped me to get myself into this setting. So
and you cannot send everyone on a bus.
Actually, I would love to. I already said it like for a few times to my friends that like maybe it would be the best option for them to do this and then come back.
Because I think everybody should experience that. I don't think everybody can like stay there because we have people who quit. But I think it still somehow helped them. I think they still had the chance to grow from it. And we also did. And yeah. So I think everybody can like get something from being a few weeks on the bus.
But also it leads to a challenge because when I went back, I felt like I'm not fitting in my own life anymore because like my surroundings here in Prague expected me to act the same as I was before with my strict plan of my future and my huge goals and my calendar. And I went back and I felt like a completely different person. And even now, after a month and a half or 2 months, I still feel it. For example, when I now jumped back into my uni, I still feel it that I'm expected to be the person that I used to be before. So it also like it's definitely a challenge to like keep the things from the travel that I want to keep and to show the people here in Prague that I want to keep that and I'm a different person a bit now.
Sorry, can I ask, how do you do that? Or I know maybe you're still figuring this out, but how are you?
I did a lot of reflections actually. No, when I got back to Prague, I was writing to my diary a lot, like random thoughts, even one sentence per day, but like at least something. And I am trying to have like a small rituals in my day that reminds me of what I felt during the bus travel or even during other parts of my summer or even like before that I like during which I felt the same as during the bus travel. So I'm trying to remind myself of that. But also you have to go through some not really nice conversations with people because not everyone understands.
Of course.
Yeah, but I think this was a common experience, also mine, also some others, people from the bus, like not fitting anymore in the surrounding and feeling like a different person. But I think it makes sense because we all grow so much.
Yeah, we grew a lot. Like
and
everyone in the group, and like all of us completely differently, because some people already did similar projects, so they found something a bit different than us who did something similar for the first time. And also we were like a wide range of ages, because the youngest was Anna, who was fresh 18, and the eldest was actually our driver. But he was really part of the team as well.
That's
he
beautiful.
was student of the Danish organization, and he was 31. So even like according to the age, it was like different for each of us.
yeah, but we didn't really notice the age. You just could feel the wiseness from the older members, but we didn't make like differences like you are the older. We talk like on the same level, but we could feel that they have something behind them already. But yeah, I was talking about the experience, and I think that it's for me it's really interesting to like try to implement the things from the project into normal life, because I couldn't imagine how will I do reflections in normal life, how will I do the agreements in normal life. And it's hard because people think the best thing to make decision is compromise. They never heard of agreements and when everybody are happy with the final decision.
With the lose-lose situation. They only know about the lose-lose, I wouldn't say.
Yeah. And yeah, I already did reflection with my new colleagues, and it was really nice. It was about like what are our expectation about the university, and we really get closer by this reflection and even before. And I never experienced clicked with someone this fast, and I think it was also because I was in this setting like let's reflect that, let's yeah.
Yeah, you know about the actual great consequences that it brings with like the learning process that reflection has, I guess. So I'm glad to hear that you bring it forward also now to your daily life.
Also for me, because with some people I didn't expect them to get it at all, but still I wanted to tell them. And sometimes I was even surprised because actually they agreed with me, and for example they had like not that big but similar experiences from the past, and now we have like similar topics, or we understand each other even more. But I wouldn't believe that with these people I could have this conversation before. So sometimes it's nice to try it even with the people you don't expect to understand.
Yeah, and also a lot of people reflected that they needed to like change their friendship, like maybe cut some of them because their expectation of what they want from friendship get just higher because of the trip, because they expect some like support and understanding, and they realize it's not what they have in their relationships. And maybe it's also my I think it is yeah,
Also your
my
outcome.
experience. Yeah, but I think it's also a good thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's part of the growth.
It is. And what I would love to let me know, like, because it sounded like you really created this very strong community and bonds and friendships and whatever ships. Not implying anything, but no, but I wanted to stay politically correct. But how do you understand now to live together or to live in a community?
We have a topic about community in our investigation, and we spent like 1 hour like clearing up what we see in the word community. And we didn't realize that when we spent 1 hour with it, the people we will ask them about will also not get it like this. So we had some misunderstanding. So what I'm trying to say is I don't really know what you mean by community.
Right. All right. Okay. Right. That's a good point. Maybe you can tell me what was your outcome of the community question.
Like for me, when we talk about the community lifestyle, as we experience, for example, in Denmark, in DNS, it's something I actually miss here in Prague, because the people really like live together and do the daily tasks together. So the relationships in between them are much more strong, because they are like in contact, like during cooking lunch, for example, during dishwashing. They are doing the really simple activities, and it's natural to create the relationships. But here, especially in Prague, which is like a capital and it's pretty big city, it's like, so you have to put so much effort to meet people and to create the relationships on your own. So for me, like when somebody says only community, it's the feeling of like belonging without so much effort that you have to put in being part of some.
Yeah. For me, it's the opposite. For me, it's like fitting it with a lot of effort, because you need to put the effort of the communication, of the reflections. But it's like fitting it with all your, it's showing your insecurities and all the things you think are bad about you, and just showing yourself without any mask or something, and still feeling like you belong there, and you have the support, and you feel good in the environment.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I think the effort is needed.
Yeah, I think like you have to definitely put the effort. The thing I was trying to say is that you don't have to put effort to be with people like physically. So you have like much more energy that you can invest in the real creating of the community spirit, and of like to communicate problems and to do the reflections.
Right. Yeah, I also understood like that it's like kind of two different efforts which are not like opposing each other. One is the effort of actually like putting a group of people together that are actively and want to engage in a community, and then the effort of actually maintaining the community.
Yeah.
Because it was something people like in the DNS was warning us that we will have some misunderstandings and some arguments, and we didn't have that much of them because we were still open to communicate, and we didn't have that much.
But also it's important to say that we were really lucky about the group that we met there, because like even during the first day we were so like into creating the respecting environment for everyone, and we put so much effort like since the very beginning to feel good together. So we were also lucky.
Yeah, but it was about the effort.
Yeah, definitely. For me, and it's like a bit personal, but never mind. It was like first time after pretty long time that I was, after this short period of time, confident with my body and like not ashamed of, I don't know, doing like, for example, going swimming and having my swimsuit on. And I felt really good in the group, also like in this like in these situations. So I think also that describes that we were really like, I felt so good, and so I felt the feeling of belonging so much.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, and thank you for sharing. That's really much appreciated. I think many people struggle with the very similar thing. So yeah, thank you. Also, like, there's so much learnings that you took out of it and so much to say, but I'm trying to wrap it up. From living together as a group of people, about the efforts that it takes. Maybe it's even possible to take that with you into the future to see, oh, if I put the effort in, it actually works. It can work with the group of people, even though there are many challenges, but yeah, it can actually work. And that's also what I wanted to ask you, like, what experiences from the project do you think will stay with you the longest and will have an impact from now? I know it has been not so much time in between now and the project, but what would you say?
For me, definitely the skill of going with the flow more. And it's really something I put so much effort to keeping that in my life. And also, I think it's just like I want to keep in mind the feeling of the community and remind myself about it from time to time.
Yeah, I hope I will keep this like inner peace I have now, like not rushing into decisions and not feel pressure to make decisions and to make the long-term plans. And also, I hope the feeling of fitting in and the strength for have the effort for putting the effort into relationships and came up with. Yeah, I also start applicating energizers whenever I feel tired. I'm like, let's do energizers. And I just bring all the people around me. Let's do energizers. We need it. I see you need it too.
Let's bring more of the non-formal education inside our lives.
I'm just really like slowly finding out how to use the things from the bus in the normal life, because the bus wasn't normal life. We all know it. So
yeah, and also I'm so much more honest, like to myself, like in case when I'm in some situation and I realize that it's actually like not me and I'm there only because somebody expects that. Like before the project, I would probably stay there until the end, and then maybe I would like mention with my closest friends that I didn't like it. Now I'm just like quitting because it's not me. So why I would spend my time and energy there?
Why would you bother? Wow. That sounds super big. And I really appreciate that you shared all of it. That sounds very impactful. What would you advise, maybe as a last thing, what would you advise someone who is wondering whether to take part in something like this? Not exactly this, but maybe some project like this. What would you tell them?
I think we
To do it.
Yeah. I know you are hearing this from all the sides, but do it.
And like for me, it's the best option is to just like sign in without thinking, because once you are overthinking, you are risking that you are not gonna do it, and you should. So just do it.
Yeah, you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. At best, you take away all of these amazing learnings and experiences like you too. So yeah, thank you for the last advice and also for sharing about this adventurous time, but also very impactful time and rich of learnings. And I wish you all the best in your lives, and may you have many others of these experiences, or may you create more of these actually. And for you who are listening, if you like this talk, we have 2 other episodes from our Engage series that you might find inspiring. So have a listen. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Dobrocast. Where will your journey lead? Find all activities at inexsda.cz and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.